Hey, I'm Blake, like Blake Lively. And so when I was younger, I was really flat chested. I was self conscious about my body, and my mom said I was perfect just the way I was, but she didn't have to deal with being bullied all the time. Kids at school used to tease me and call me names. They called my breasts mosquito bites and bee stings. Like, one boy even said that I was the president of the itty bitty titty committee. Nice. So my friend Casey told me to try a push-up bra, but I didn't have any cleavage to push up. Instead, I decided to stuff my bra. Worst idea ever. When I went to school, I thought the teasing would stop because I looked like I had breasts. Instead, it got even worse. Everyone knew what I'd done, and then the tissue fell out of one side, so my chest looked lopsided. I was so embarrassed. I ran and locked myself in the restroom. Casey came to find me. "Don't let them get to you," she said. But I couldn't help it. No one wanted to date a girl with no breasts. That's when Casey told me I should just get breast implants. I knew it was the only solution, so I decided to do it. The surgery cost $5,000. But my mom refused to pay, especially because I was just a teenager. So one night, I stole some of her jewelry, and I sold it. I found a really good surgeon who had worked with famous people. His name was Dr. Jonas. I told him I wanted to go for the biggest size possible, but he refused. He said I didn't have enough skin tissue. So when he did the surgery, he gave me a B cup size. A B was better than nothing, but at the same time, I still wasn't happy with my breasts. I wanted more. So I wore a padded bra, and my boobs looked huge. After the surgery, boys started giving me attention, which I wasn't used to. Life sure was different when you had big boobs. I started dating a guy named Matthew. He was really hot, tall, and handsome. I couldn't believe I was dating a guy like him. He said he admired my body, and he thought I was really hot, too. It wasn't long before things started getting steamy between us. We often made out in his car, and when his parents weren't home, we went to his house. But we still, didn't go all the way. So one time Matthew bought me expensive lingerie, like red panties and a bra. The bra he got me, though, was like 10 sizes bigger than my actual size. I guess he didn't realize I was still wearing padded bras. So when I put it on, the bra looked basically empty. Even when I put tissue in, I was so embarrassed. But I knew he'd accept me no matter what. After all, we really liked each other. So I went to his house wearing his gift with just a jacket over it, like in movies. But when he opened the door, I took the jacket off and Matthew looked amazed. But when he started touching me, he got all confused. Why is your bra empty?" he said. "Did your breasts, disappear?" I was so embarrassed. I told him about how flat-chested I used to be and how I'd gotten surgery, but it only helped me get a B cup size. And then I only used padded bras, and I thought Matthew would be nice about it, but he kicked me out of the house and told me he never wanted to see my face again. What a jerk! I cried for days. It wasn't my fault that my breasts were small. I hated Dr. Jonas for only giving me a B cup, and I began searching for a new doctor. Eventually, I found this doctor, who actually seemed kind of cute. His name was Will, so I paid him a visit, and he looked even cuter in real life. The kind of guy you'd only meet in, Prince Charming movies. But I stopped myself with going too far with my thoughts, because he was my doctor after all. I explained the situation to him and how I wanted my boobs to be much bigger. He said it was no problem and he could do it for me. He explained that there was a type of implant which would help my boobs grow after the surgery. "Forget double D," he said. "You could be a G or an H. It would be amazing." "I don't know," I said. "I don't want to look stupid." "Don't be silly. It would look so hot on you," said Will. "And it's only a bit more expensive than standard surgery." But then I told him I didn't have the money to pay for it. Will said it was okay. He'd do it for free if I became his girlfriend. I accepted his offer immediately. Who turned down a hot boyfriend and free breast implants? When I woke up from my surgery, I was in a lot of pain. More pain than with Dr. Jonas the first time. But when I looked at my chest, I couldn't believe it. My breasts were huge. Babe, you look gorgeous, said Will. We're gonna have so much fun. It was a while before I was able to be intimate with Will because my breasts were so sore, but when I felt better, he couldn't keep his hands off me. He wanted to be with me all the time, which was great at first, but after a while, I felt like it was all he wanted. Just as Will said that they would, my breasts got bigger and bigger, but there was nothing natural about them. My right breast was bigger than the left, and I looked stupid. Will didn't care. He just wanted to fool around more, but that was the last thing I felt like doing. My breasts were so big, it was really uncomfortable. And then my left breast got really sore. It was bright red and it hurt. I asked Will to check up on me in his clinic, and he told me I had an infection, but that it was totally normal. He said it was a common side effect with this type of implant, and all I needed was some antibiotics and I'd be fine. When I asked him what I could do about my breasts being different sizes, he offered to give one massage to encourage one breast to grow. I said no. I took the antibiotics he gave me though, and it helped the infection go away, but that was just the start of my problems. My breasts kept getting bigger, and I got another infection. I decided to go see Jonas instead of Dr. Will. When he saw my breasts, he frowned and shook his head. This isn't good, Blake, he said. These implants are banned, and for a good reason. They're really dangerous. I wish you'd come back to tell me if you wanted another augmentation. I burst into tears. Can you help me? I said. Dr. Jonas said that he could get my breasts back to the same size by removing the serum from my larger breast, because he advised me to get the implants removed completely because they were so dangerous. I knew Dr. Will would be angry if I got the implants removed, but I did make an appointment with Dr. Jonas to remove some of the serum to make my breasts smaller and the same size. Will wasn't happy when he saw what I'd done. I did a lot of work on those implants, he said. It cost me a lot of money. I don't want to be with a girl with small breasts. Small? My breasts were a size J. Anyway, said Will, I got a surprise for you. I've been talking to a producer friend of mine, and he was interested in having you audition for one of his movies. He won't want to talk to you if your breasts are too small, though. Why do I need big boobs for a movie? I asked. Then I realized what kind of movie he was talking about. I don't want to be an adult star, I yelled. Will and I split up, but I still had problems with my supersized breasts, and without Will's money, I couldn't afford to get the implants removed. I kept getting infections, and I was always sick. And now I've been told if I don't get the implants taken out, I could die at any time from an infection. Will did such a bad job. The only way to get rid of them is if I have my breasts removed. But I can't say yes to that. After I broke up with Will, I had to find a way to make money. But every job I applied to rejected me because of the way I looked. I mean, I was carrying 100 pounds worth of breasts in my bra. Of course no one would accept me for a normal job. At last I got hired as a waitress at a nearby restaurant. I was so happy to start working, but it wasn't long before I discovered that this job was going to be really hard. Whenever I took orders from customers, they just stared at my boobs, even the women. It was so embarrassing. I mean, I bet no one even knew what my face looked like. And when I brought food to the tables, I was always dropping things on the floor because my breasts kept getting in the way. One day, I dropped a plate and it broke. One of the pieces scratched a customer and his hands started bleeding. I was fired that day. I went home crying. I didn't know what to do without that job. But a week later, my boss called and said most of the customers stopped coming to the restaurant because I wasn't there. He asked me to come back and work as a hostess. He was going to pay me a salary of $7,000 a month, and I just had to sit near the restaurant entrance and greet customers, basically. Awesome! Now I'm pretty famous around where I live. People come and take pictures with me all the time. And a few months ago, some agent came up to me and said that he wanted to sign me and make me even more famous and well-known. I said yes right away. The first thing they did was open an Instagram account for me, and I posted steamy pictures daily. I thought people thought that I'd looked weird, but I was surprised to get so many comments from fans who thought I was pretty and even hot. So one guy, named Oren, DM'd me. He was a bodybuilder, and he wanted us to go out. He looked pretty cute in his photos, but when we met, I was surprised to see he was super short. He was like 5 feet, 5'1", but I didn't care. He was such a gentleman. So we started dating, even though sometimes I couldn't see him when he stood next to me because of my huge breasts. But we fell in love, and now people call us the weirdest couple in town. Did you like my story? If you want to see more videos, please like, comment, and share.